In today's video, we're going to be talking about 25 things nobody tells you about running a sober living business from someone who lived it. When I started my sober living, no one really warned me about the real world of running a sober living. It's rewarding, but it's also a business, and it's not all smooth sailing. Today, I'm pulling back the curtain. Some of these things are going to shock you, some might save you thousands of dollars, and some might save you from quitting. Let's jump in. So I got my handy dandy outline of what I'm going to talk about today, right? First thing I want to do is I want to introduce myself. For those who don't know, my name is Daryl McCullough. I help people start sober living businesses. I got my expertise back in California, where I scaled up to 4 SLEs and helped a lot of people in the process get clean, stay clean, and move on with their lives. So today, I want to talk about the 25 things no one tells you about running a sober living business, right? Because I think people need to know before they jump into this, is this something you want to do? And more importantly, you want to know what it is that you got to look forward to, right? These are things I wish people had told me, because it would have gave me a better understanding. Not that it would have deterred me, but it would have gave me a better understanding of exactly what I was jumping into, okay? So we're going to start with the main content, which is my number one talking point, which is money in the business setup. How much money can you actually make? You can make a lot of money. Back in 2020, it was to the tune of $34,000, right? Is what I was making. $34,000 is a lot of money per month. I wanted to make sure I put that per month. And how that happened, I started in the pandemic when people were like not starting businesses, where there was like communal living. And so they incentivized it. And when I say they, I'm talking about the reentry programs, okay? It was like $55 per bed. And that came roughly to $1,700 per month. I had 20 beds available for clients to come in. So yeah, it was close to $34,000 a month. Now, you needed to be able to have all of those beds filled. We did pretty good because they needed it. And I believe there's still a huge need for sober living businesses. So I think if you're thinking about starting this up, it's a great idea. If you have rental property, if you're somebody in real estate and want to give your clients a different way of being able to hold real estate, right? Because we got the typical buy and hold, and then we have places like, we have ideas like this where you can be able to buy and then fill it up with people that need a place to stay, right? Quote unquote, sober living businesses or halfway houses. So you can make a lot of money. That should be like a no-brainer. If you don't believe it, trust me. And I got a lot of clients who can tell you the same thing. The money is there because people need the help. So the money is there. I want to talk about the taxes, right? I want the people that are getting into this business to understand, first and foremost, it is a business. And you need to make sure that you're doing the things that businesses do, like accounting, right? Taxes. And it's a lot of money. So what I recommend you doing is get on some type of program where you get someone that can probably help you with your bookkeeping, someone that can be able to help you with your taxes, your accounting, all of that stuff. They got a ton of places out there where you can be able to do that. But it's something that you need to look at, because a lot of the people that come to me, they have a big heart and they want to help, and they are helping people, but they don't realize it's a business and there's things that businesses definitely have to do. And so I just want you to make sure that you're taking care of yourself. I am not a tax attorney or anything like that. I want you to be cognizant, be aware that it's a business and businesses have things that have to get done. Okay. The next main piece I want to talk about is I want to talk about the paperwork and the processes, the critical need for paperwork. Paperwork is super important. When I say paperwork, I'm thinking like intake packets. I'm thinking like keeping files of individual people and how important that is in your documentation. And so what I like about what I do with my online course, right? We help you with that paperwork, right? We have PDFs that you can be able to download. Those PDFs essentially give you an idea of what you can be able to create. Maybe you want something a little bit different, but it gives you like a framework to work off of. So if that's something that you want to know about the different types of paperwork, or you want a place where you can get all of that paperwork, the online course that I provide is a great way for that. From intake packets to manager contracts to good neighbor policies for your clients. You just want to make sure that they're signing these good neighbor policies. So there's a lot of different stuff, but ultimately you want to be able to have your intake process intact. In my online course in consulting, I help my clients with that. Just want to throw that out there. The huge amount of freedom you get in time management is the next talking point. It's important. You will have free time. There's a lot of free time. And if this is your primary source of income, you want to make sure, there you go, channeling that time into growing your business. You don't want to stray away from the main goal. The main goal, hopefully, is to help people generate multiple streams of income off a single property and grow that business. I just want to throw that out because I wish I would have known, hey, you know what? Stay focused, keep it going, get with other sober living owners that can be able to guide you or inspire you. Things that I wish I would have known. Stress management. The intense stress. This is a business and there is stressful moments in that business. What I want you to be able to do, hopefully, is to be able to have something that can counter that stress. So whether you're in NA or you're in AA, you can be able to talk about it, hopefully. Maybe you're doing meditation. Maybe you do prayer. Maybe you go to a church or a mosque or whatever it is that you do. Have a stress reduction plan going into this. I would even bake that into my business plan. And that might be another piece that we need to look at is have a business plan. They're really cheap. I got mine on Fiverr, really simple. I told them what I was trying to do and they helped me out and it was done. You can go to Fiverr.com or download the app. They got both the Apple and the Android versions. So just stress. It's a big one. I did a lot of working out and it helped. I need to probably get back in the gym a little bit, but I'm working on it. If you're in recovery, you must work a program. And that was a talking point. You got to work a program with this. There's no way around it because of the people that might challenge you from the stress that comes up. And you want to keep that spiritual growth going because then you'll have something to give. You can't pour from a cup that's empty. So you got to stay in recovery. Don't let this take you away. And then now you're going to meetings once or twice a week. No, if you were doing 4 or 5 meetings or you're doing a meeting a day, keep that regimen. It's so important. If you're a churchgoer, same thing. Keep those commitments. Keep allowing yourself to be fed. Go to the doctor. Go to the doctor. Your health is the wealth. I'm a huge advocate of that. Inspections are real. You want to make sure that normally the inspections are going to be like your fire inspection and they might be the certification body inspection. No matter what it is, once again, I'll go back to it. I have this program, the online program that can help you go through the inspections, get through those and make it a breeze. So that's there. I don't want you to worry too much about those. especially if you're thinking about coming on to consulting with me, you'll be okay. Especially if you get the online course, you'll be okay. Right? Trust me. Don't worry about those too much, but they are real. So real life experience. So people can pass away in your home. I've had someone who has passed away, couple people, whether it's from overdose or maybe they were just elderly and then they got sick and they passed, but it does happen, right? Know that it's part of life, obviously, and it's a part of when you're dealing with a business that's in our industry, which is sober living, the world living amongst people and people living amongst themselves. You're going to have that. Don't worry about it so much, but just know that it's a real thing, right? And when that happens, because when it happened to me, we call the police. We are very accommodating. They come out, they do what they need to do. But know that I just really want to throw it out there. It's a real thing. Part of doing business in this industry, you will experience bittersweet moments. I threw this in here because there's people that have come in, they'll leave, and you'll build a relationship with them. And so I want you to be aware that can and does happen. And it's part of the process as teacher, student. And as they move on to the next phase, we're left, especially if we build a relationship, we're left hopefully better off with the relationship. But sometimes it's hard to let go. But know that I want you to know that's a real thing. And there's been hundreds of people at this point that have passed through the business that I had started up. And it's been a very bittersweet moment. But I'm grateful that I had a chance to be able to help the people that came my way, that we had a program that we built that could be able to help them. It is awesome. It is awesome. The next one, financial management. Kind of touched on it. Just really want to go back into it again. So money management is key. Never had made this amount of money before. We're talking $30,000 a month, $20,000 a month. Prior to this, I was working for the county. I love that job, right? I love working with people in addiction. I was a drug and alcohol counselor as well. But I didn't have a lot of money management skills. And so I would say start working with somebody, because if you get this thing set up, if you take the course and get this thing set up, there's a great chance that you're going to make more money than you've ever made in your life. And I'm not trying to exaggerate or sell it. It's just the truth. And what you do when you get that money is going to determine a lot. So I really recommend that you start thinking now about money management and how to be able to navigate that. Accountant, once again, would be a great idea. Just throwing that out there. It's a great idea. Time investment is heavier at the beginning, and it is for any business. For any business, it's going to require you setting up contracts. It's going to require you getting house managers. It's going to require you with additional paperwork, getting certain insurances that you'll need, the licensing, right? HOAs, CCNRs, all of these things. But I can help you with that. The online course can help you with that. And it's not something that's, oh my God, can I do it, right? You can do it. It's very possible. And it's not as hard as sometimes I make it out to be, right? So I want you to stay positive about the idea that if Daryl can do it, you can do it, right? And I'm always willing to help. There's people that call me and I do my best. And that's the best thing about the online course. Like, even after you buy it, there's support. I'm here for you. And they like the idea that they have that support. So we talked about that. So deeper fulfillment. So fulfillment will sneak up on you. There's something about when people get it. And they get it, right? And they're going to meetings, they're reuniting with family, they're buying cars for the first time in some cases, they're getting their driver license back, CPS cases are closing, all of those things are happening, right? And There's a deep fulfillment with this that I didn't know about, right? And it allowed me to reevaluate relationships and the value that they have, not only in my personal life, but in business. It did something uniquely different. I wish I was aware of, from the start, building these relationships, knowing how important they will be over time. Most people starting out have no mentor, right? I was drawn to this consulting piece because I'm a teacher, right? Regardless of what's going on, that is one of my gifts. I love to teach. This is something that I get to help you because I didn't have it. You're going to be able to have a mentor that you can work with, and you can be able to get done a lot faster. And I believe a lot more successful I was, right? And so that's part of this as well, being able to be there for you. And that's my goal. I want to be there for you. And so that's the goal, right? And so that's the reason why I have the consulting, the one-on-one consulting, and the reason why I made the online course, which I believe is probably the best thing because it allows you to be able to go at your own pace, get things done, but you still have access to me at critical points and critical junctures. That's the best of both worlds, right? For a lot less, you get me and you get an online course. Yeah. Growing the business. Getting contracts can supercharge your business. I know this, and I think a lot of people know, they don't know where to go. Online course fixes that. You're going to know exactly you're going to know exactly where to look at. I give you everything that I did, right, to start and scale my business. Contracts was a big part of that. Also private pay. Also, there was a lot of other reentry programs that I use that we talk about in the online course. So I think this is going to be like the online course. I can't even, you'll see, right? It's worth it. Okay. I wish I would have known to what degree. I didn't understand $1,700 a bed. And there's contracts out there bigger than that, right? Because there's things like in certain parts of the country where they're taking insurance for the first time for sober living beds. And that, my friend, is a game changer. I would love to be able to work with you if you're someone that's looking to be able to do something like that. I think it's a great idea. I really do. All right. So next we're going to talk about you must control your program's population. What I mean by that is that you need to set up the program in a way where there's boundaries put in, whether that's drug testing, whether that's going to be how many days you guys have house meetings, how many meetings, outside meetings do you want your clients to have? The 12 steps, do you want them working the program? What does that look like? What population are you serving? Do you know male, female? All these other aspects that we may not know of in the beginning. We just know, hey man, this is a great idea, or I just want to help people, or I can make some money. There's a lot of different moving parts to this. And that's why it's so important that you get a mentor somewhere, right? External agencies may try to control your house. So essentially, you got to be very careful when you set your program up. Yes, you want to be flexible because you want to be able to accommodate people's needs. But in the same way, make sure that you're keeping your boundaries, right? This is what you want your program to be, where there's no TVs in the rooms, and you want them focused on maybe reading the basic text, reading the big books of Alcoholics Anonymous, reading their Bibles, reading their Qurans, or whatever. If that's how you want to set your program up, do it. Do that, right? And don't let the money stop you from what you believe in. If you believe in, I want them praying, you may not get a lot of state contracts or whatever, but maybe you can go a different route. Maybe you can look at the organized religion piece, which is totally fine. It's your program. What do you want? And I think that's another piece that we don't look at, is that this is very creative. When I sit down with my clients and I'm like, okay, now tell me in a year how you want this program to affect lives. Do you want families reunited? Do you want to focus on the family unit? Do you want to focus on males, females? What is it? And it doesn't have to be limited there, right? Whatever it is that you believe in, I believe that there's a need for it. I just want you to, I think it's important. Don't let external agencies control your house. Control your program. If you set it up and you want to help people that are in Narcotics Anonymous get better, and that's where you want to focus on that. Do what's the best thing for you and for the population that you serve. So we talked about the external agencies, day-to-day realities, right? Day-to-day realities. You'll need multiple refrigerators. That's a day-to-day reality. You're going to need those. I would say 4 participants per refrigerator, 4 to 6, just depends. And then there's different certifying bodies that might want something different. But I want to throw that out there, right? Like somewhere right around that number. The right intake process matters. And we've talked about intake packets, but there's a process, right? When they come in, what are you doing? What checks and balances do you have in there? And so all of that stuff we cover in the online course. I love it. I love the online course. It's worth getting. Okay. I want to throw that out there. It's worth it, especially with the support that comes along with it. Finding good managers isn't easy, but it can be done. And I show you where's the best place to go and find them. So we go through all of that. Manager pay must be fair and strategic. And so what ends up happening, I send my clients off to a place where they show you a lot about billing and how that works, because I think they do a great job. And in there, I'll show you about the people that I like and the different organizations that I use to be able to help my clients. So you'll get all of that in the online course and the support. Okay. You must have specialized SLE insurance. Super important. This is a very niche business, and you want to make sure that your insurance will cover you. And there's a few places that I go and I send my clients to that I think might help you. So come see me. If you end up buying the course, that's what you get with that. Some of the things you get with that, right? Oh, so also leadership skills. You will have to set and enforce boundaries. It's just one of the things. We touched on it before, but it is one of those things. You're going to have to enforce boundaries. And it's not really a big deal. You just got to make sure that you do it. And so that can look like a host of different things, different ways to be able to do that. I show you what has worked for me, because sometimes we need that. And so that's what I do. I try to help the people get those boundaries enforced. Okay. Marketing is essential. It just really is. It's super essential. And so it's something that you should never really stop doing. A lot of marketing is going to be you having tours, coming into the house, you showing people, getting organizations to come through. And I show you how to do a proper tour, how to set that up, how to be able to mass market, to really be able to connect with a lot of people in your area. So those are some of the things that I see. Okay. Yeah. And also maintenance is nonstop. I want to throw that out there. Maintenance of the house is important. And the guys that are in the house, when they come in, they understand that their job is to maintain the property itself, right? They have chores, daily chores. Honestly, it's better to rent or to lease your house out to a sober living or turn it into a sober living than renting it out traditionally. And that's mainly because what you get is you have, first of all, access to your property still, but also you have people that are maintaining your property which is awesome, right? And it's showing them about responsibility and follow through and all of these different principles that are so important when you're learning how to stay clean. And mindset, celebrating the wins, looking at the idea that when these guys hit milestones of 30 days, 60 days, 90 days clean, right? Or 30, 60, 90 days sober, however you look at that, right? You want to celebrate their wins and the company's wins. So important, okay? So let's recap. We talked about how much money you can actually make, the importance of filing taxes properly, paperwork and process, the critical need for paperwork, the huge amount of freedom you get in time management. We talked about stress management, the intense stress that can come. It doesn't have to, but it can. Main content is also, we talked about real life experiences, right? We talked about financial management, making sure you take care of your money and make sure that you're doing the right thing for the right reason with your money. The deeper fulfillment that comes in growing the business, right? How to be able to do that, day-to-day realities of what we're really looking at, the leadership, the mindset. If you're looking for consulting on starting a sober living, get the online course. I like the online course because at the end of the day, you can be able to also have access to me through it, okay? There'll be a link somewhere where you can be able to do that. And on my next video, I am going to show you how to be able to fill your SOL up. All right, this is Daryl. I hope this helps.